Good evening. First of all, I want to say that I have the privilege of serving as department head for natural resource management, and I want to warmly welcome our donors, our award recipients, and their families and friends, your support network, because it's really wonderful to have you all here. We're really delighted to be able to celebrate our undergraduates' accomplishments, as well as thank our donors personally who are pursuing degrees in natural resource management. So it's really a pleasure to all be together. Our students pursue degrees in a number of different areas within natural resource management. And the majors that they pursue are conservation planning and park management, ecology and environmental sciences, natural resource law enforcement, rangeland ecology and management, and wildlife and fisheries sciences. And throughout the evening, you'll meet our faculty and our students. And before we start, I would like to first introduce the distinguished guests we have joining us this evening. So we have President Barry Dunn here with his wife, Jane Dunn. We have Dean Joe Cassidy here with Beverly Cassidy, his spouse. We have Lyle Perman here, who is a donor, a longtime donor and friend of our department in Rangelands. We have Sydney and Jeanette Wagner here. I think they were planning on coming. I didn't see them. Are they here? Well, we'll just say thank you for planning to come. And then we have Bob and Alice Kurtz here joining us. So it's really very special to be together after the COVID last couple of years. So we're pretty excited by this. And just so you know, we are live streaming this and we will be recording it so you can share it with your family and friends who could not be here. We have a great group of faculty and staff that will be new to many of you and those viewing remotely. Therefore, I'd like to take a little time to introduce those who are able to join us this evening, because there's been an infusion of new faculty within NRM owing to retirements. So we have Chris Cheek here. Okay, Assistant Professor Chris Cheek. Amanda Cheeseman. There you go, all right. Steve Chips. There he is, okay. Allison Coulter. Okay. Krista Ehlert is West River, so you won't see her personally tonight, but you will see a photo of her shortly. Bruce Eichhorst. There you go. Maribeth Latvis. Josh Leffler. Don McCrory. Bill Sieberud. Sandy Smart. Lon Shu. And Jennifer Zavaleta Cheek. And then other faculty who weren't able to be with us tonight are Laura Perkins and Rachel Short, and Rachel's West River as well. So now we could not have done this without an incredibly committed staff. And I want to say this event would not have been possible. And I want to shout out a special thank you to Ji-Young Kim back there, who has been amazing. And then support for Ji-Young has been with Amanda Hoover, our new professional advisor within NRM. And the woman who watches our money, Beth Byrie back there, our accountant, to make sure we can afford to do things. So it's a really special group of people within NRM. And we love having your students. And we view this as just a real privilege to have the opportunity to be part of their training. So. Oh, and that's Charlie Cheek down there. So just so you know. Okay. So now we do have cake back there, decaf coffee, water, and lemonade, and you can go at any time and cut the biggest piece of cake that you want. So enjoy. And we're going to start the formal presentation now. And so I will be announcing the presenters, and then they'll come up and talk about the awards and the recipients. All right. And our first presenter is going to be Mary Beth Lapvis.
Thank you. So our first award is the Elvin Hack Family Scholarship Endowment in Natural Resource Management. So this scholarship was established in 2019 by Joyce Hack and Paul Brooks, who reside in Ramona, California. And so the criteria is any sophomore or above pursuing any major within natural resource management. And so we have a couple of years to cover, and I'm not sure if the recipients are here. But for 2021, 2022, the recipient is Bethany Hutner. Is Bethany here? Okay, and then the 2022-23 recipient is Sunny Josephson, who wasn't able to attend tonight. All right, congratulations to those recipients.
The next presenter is going to be Sandy Smart, and if Jane and Barry would like to come up as well, you're most welcome.
Good evening. The Barry H. and Jane K. Dunn Scholarship in Range Science in memory of Claude V. Lamoureux. The scholarship was established in 2010. President Dunn and Jane Dunn are with us tonight. We thank you. Claude Lamoureux was born in 1893 on a ranch on the Rosebud Indian Reservation in South Dakota. He graduated high school from Valentine, Nebraska, and he began ranching near Rosebud, South Dakota with his wife and children. During the Great Depression, Claude moved his family to Sioux City, Iowa, and worked as a livestock commission salesperson in Sioux City stockyards. Following World War II, Claude returned to the Rosebud and started the L7 Ranch Company. He was an active conservationist and reseeded thousands of acres of farm ground back to native grasses. Claude was a leader in his community and the cattle industry until his death in 1973. This scholarship is given by his grandson, Barry H. Dunn, who followed in his footsteps. And we're happy this year to present the award to Landon Walter.
Would you like to say anything else, Barry or Jane? No, you're fine. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a real treat to be here. This department has a special place in my heart, and I really am just really proud of the work that you're doing. I don't know all the new faculty, but look forward to doing that. And really congratulations to the students. This is a great program, and you'll have enormous impact on the world as we struggle with the challenges that we face with our climate and our ecology and how those are clashing. And so I know it's a big challenge, but I know you're all up to it and you've got a great faculty to teach you about it. So thanks, everyone.
The next presenter is Chris Cheek.
Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to announce the Bob and Carol Hanton Endowed Scholarship in Fisheries. Robert Bob Lee Hanton attended SDSU, and following graduate school, he went to work for South Dakota Game Fish and Parks as a fisheries biologist in 1961. He soon became the chief of fisheries and retired the chief of fisheries in 1997. Hannon served the people and the fisheries resources of South Dakota for more than 35 years. He guided the growth of the department's fish culture capability from one antique hatchery at Pickerel Lake to 3 modern fish culture facilities and was immediately involved in the Missouri River Development Plan and modernized recreational access to the Missouri River. Through his leadership, South Dakota has become noted for its quality fishing, attracting 3 million anglers every year. Hanton co-authored the book Managing South Dakota Ponds for Fish and Wildlife, which is now a popular and much used book in South Dakota. In addition, he and his son wrote a chapter on the commercial fishing and bait fish industry in the book History and Fishing of Fisheries and Fishing in South Dakota. Hanton fought for and attained water rights for an allotted number of cubic feet per second of water flows and streams in the name of all the people of South Dakota. He felt that everyone had a right to have running water in the streams of their state. Hanton also spent many years of his life working to clean up mining impacts to Whitewood Creek, as well as many other creeks within the state. In addition to his more visible duties, Hanton was instrumental in developing a cooperative research program with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Science at South Dakota State University and the Biology Department at the University of South Dakota. Today, I'm happy to announce that in the 2021-22 year, Kyle Gebhardt will be awarded this scholarship, and then in 2022 and 23, Hunter Laverack will be awarded.
Our next presenter is Amanda Cheeseman.
So I have the honor of presenting the Brent Wilbur Wildlife Conservation Scholarship. This scholarship was established in 2012. Brent Wilbur will long be remembered for his passion for hunting and enthusiasm towards lobbying to protect our firearms and Second Amendment rights. Brent was also an avid trap shooter and gun collector. Hunting and the fellowship it provided among good friends and the lobbying to preserve those freedoms for prosperity helped define who Brent Wilbur was. Brent Wilbur served for many years as a lobbyist and counsel for the South Dakota Cable Television Association. The association is funding the Brent Wilbur Wildlife Conservation Scholarship in tribute to Brent's passion for the outdoors and in remembrance of his wise and valuable counsel. Brent Wilbur passed away on March 15th, 2006. The 2021-2022 awardee for this was Emma Schwartz, and I don't believe Emma is here today.
The next presenter is Allison Coulter.
Good evening. I'll be presenting the Brookings Wildlife Federation Scholarship, and I am a member of the Brookings Wildlife Federation. And tonight we have Bob and Alice Kurtz with us, and Bob is the current president of the Brookings Wildlife Federation. So thank you for being here. This scholarship was established in 1987. The Brookings chapter of the National Wildlife Federation has presented this award since that establishment date. The scholarship goes to an outstanding wildlife and fisheries sophomore, fisheries sciences sophomore, and the award is based on academic performance and professional activities. The Brookings Wildlife Federation is interested in a wide array of wildlife-related issues. The Brookings Wildlife Federation was formed in 1980 when two different local conservation groups merged and became an affiliate of the South Dakota Wildlife Federation. They've had a membership ranging from 100 to 300 members and provide conservation and education services to Brookings County area. The Brookings Wildlife Federation funds, organizes, and participates in local conservation activities like kids' summer fishing events and educational events for youth adults, recognizes professionals and laypersons for conservation and natural resources, and advocates the perspectives of outdoor recreationalists to legislatures at local and state levels. The Brookings Wildlife Federation is governed by a board of directors and administered by the president, past president, and treasurer. And they publish a monthly newsletter. If students are interested in that, I get it, let me know, I can forward it to you. And they have a monthly business meeting and info lunch that you can attend that are usually attended by 30 to 50 people. Our 2021-2022 recipient was Emma Schward, who could not attend tonight. When I saw her on the list, I emailed her and bugged her about that. But then our 2022 to 2023 recipient is Tessa Magner, who I believe also could not attend tonight. But thank you.
Our next presenter is Don McCrory.
Good evening. Just for the record, my wife made me dress this way. She's not here to accept her award. Okay, anyway, hey, after 31 years, I can get away with that. My scholarship that I'm going to be presenting is the Clifford and Alice Falcon Scholarship, which was established in 2015. Clifford Falcon was a veteran of World War II. His unit was the first to arrive overseas when the war broke out. And after serving almost 5 years, he returned to South Dakota and married Alice Anderson. They lived most of their life in Dual County, South Dakota, in the Hidewood Valley area, and Clifford farmed most of his life. The hills of the Hidewood Valley produced an abundance of wild game, which Clifford spent many hours hunting, trapping, and fishing. After the farm work was done, Clifford would be off with his rifle, shotgun, bow, or fishing pole, and Alice was there to cook whatever he brought home. Clifford was a true sportsman that loved the outdoors. The family of Clifford and Alice wanted them to be remembered for the love of the outdoors and wildlife by these scholarships. Sadly, both Clifford and Alice have passed away since the establishment of this scholarship by the family in their honor. The 2021-22 and 22-23 recipient is Elijah Downs, and I don't know if Elijah's here tonight. So don't believe he is, but anyway, well deserved.
The next presenter is Bill Severud.
Sorry, I got a little distracted watching little Charlie go out the room. It is my pleasure to present the David Bartling Scholarship in Wildlife and Fishery Sciences. The scholarship was established in 2005. This endowed fund provides a scholarship annually to a sophomore, junior, or senior wildlife and fishery science major. Mr. Bartling instituted this scholarship because of his interest in students and natural resources. Dave Bartling was born in Brookings, South Dakota, and graduated from Brookings High School in 1972. He graduated from SDSU in 1976 with a bachelor's degree in park management. Dave was a park ranger in Utah and a park manager in South Dakota's state park system from 1978 to 1990. Dave became a conservation officer in 1990 and is currently the conservation officer in Dual County for South Dakota's Game, Fish, and Parks Department. In 2002, Dave received the Game, Fish, and Parks Boating Officer of the Year award. Dave was named South Dakota's Wildlife Conservation Officer of the Year in 2004. And the recipient for 2021 is Zachary George. Thank you. Oh, and yes, and then the recipient for 21-23 is one of my current students, Jacob Strom.
The next presenter is Josh Leffler.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce the David J. Holden Memorial Scholarship, which was established in 1988 in honor of Dr. Holden. Dr. Holden, a Webster, South Dakota native and professor emeritus of the biology department, served his department at South Dakota State University from 1956 to 1988. He was the head of the botany department from 1958 through 1967. He received his Bachelor's of Science from South Dakota State College in 1950 and his PhD from the University of Chicago in botany a couple years after that. During his tenure here, he did natural areas surveys in South Dakota and North Dakota. One of the outcomes of his efforts was his book, Dakota Visions. He worked very closely with the Nature Conservancy and was instrumental in establishment of 6 native prairie preserves in South Dakota. Both ardent naturalists, Dave and his wife Nelda led Christmas bird count field trips for many years. In 1983, Dave was presented the John Robertson Memorial Award in Horticulture for his work in preservation of native prairie plants. The scholarship is administered by demonstrating an interest in preserving our biological natural heritage with an emphasis in plant ecology or environmental biology. The award for the 2022-23 year goes to Ashlyn DeBoer.
I would also like to share that Nelda is a regular attendee to our receptions, but she is recovering from surgery and doing well, and I suspect she's online. So this is your shout out to you, Nelda. Get well soon. Our next presenter is Steve Chips.
I don't need a script. So the next award is the Robert A. Clum Memorial Scholarship. And Rob was a Fish and Wildlife Service employee, lived in Pierre, South Dakota. And I met him in the early 2000s. He got his undergraduate degree at University of Wisconsin, his PhD at Cornell University. And he was a pretty colorful character. If anybody, Don's nodding his head. But anyway, Rob was a great guy, a good colleague and good friend of mine. And we established this award in his memory to honor undergraduate student in our department. So our 2001 recipient of the Dr. Robert Clum Memorial is Lydia Hansen. See Lydia's here, good. And then our second award recipient is Bryce Capacious. I see Bryce. I would also mention that Bryce is the president of the AFS student subunit. He is a fish seining extraordinaire. So he's been working in the summers for Minnesota DNR. So good job, Bryce.
Thank you. Okay, great. Our next presenter is Lan Shu.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for that. It's my pleasure to present Ecology and Environment Science Scholarship. This scholarship was established in 2013. The Ecology and Environment Science Scholarship Fund has been established and maintained with the kind contributions of alumni, SDSU faculty, and private supporters of SDSU Ecology and Environment Science major. The sole purpose of this fund is to provide several small scholarships to students actively pursuing major and thereby encouraging high academic achievement in support of sustainable natural resource management. 2021 awardees is Riley Munston. I believe Riley is here. Riley is our Riley triple major, graduate from our program, and currently is a grad student with Dr. Elson Coulter. 2022, our awardees, Max White. I believe Max is in there too.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Bruce Eichhorst.
Good evening. I'm here to announce the award for the Edward Crozier and Carolyn Kinkner Crozier Scholarship. I also have the distinction of reading the longest one, so bear with me. The scholarship was established in 2008 and alternates between two departments, one of which is our department. Carol Kinkner Crozier grew up in Lincoln County, Brestford, South Dakota, and attended Silver Lake District number 59 Rural School and Brestford High School. She graduated with a degree in home economics education from SDSU in 1960. Carol was an extension home economist in Brule County and a 9 through 12 home economics and English teacher in Cassville, Wisconsin, my home state. Her career also included 7 through 12 substitute teaching, adult education for 12 years. She owned her own sewing pattern business and sold her artwork. In 1980, she began a new career in long-term care, first as a coordinator of volunteer services. And after her company sent her back to school to get her long-term care administrator's license from the University of Minnesota School of Public Health, she was an administrator from 1983 to 1994 for Good Neighbor and Good Samaritan. Carol enjoys gardening, reading, social groups, antiques, and travel. In 1960, Carol married Ed Crozier. They have 2 daughters, Michelle and Charisse. They have lived in Cassville, Wisconsin, Jamestown and Cayuga, North Dakota, Quincy, Illinois, Bloomington and Burnsville, Minnesota, where they currently reside. Ed grew up on the prairies of southwestern Minnesota, where he graduated from high school in Jasper. He then attained a degree in wildlife management from SDSU in 1956. After seasonal positions with the National Park Service, the Forest Service, and as a guide in the Boundary Waters Canoe Country, he secured a full-time position with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He continued employment with the Fish and Wildlife Service for nearly 40 years as manager of National Wildlife Refuges in Wisconsin, served as chief of the Fish and Wildlife Service National Planning Team, and worked throughout the United States. At the time of his retirement, Ed was supervisor of all National Wildlife Refuges in Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. By working with local citizens, he was instrumental in the establishment of one of the nation's first urban wildlife refuges, which is Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge. For his government service, he was awarded the Meritorious and Distinguished Service Awards, the 2 highest honors given to employees of the U.S. Department of Interior, and has an auditorium named in his honor at a Fish and Wildlife Service visitor center. After retirement, he continued his conservation work by serving as vice chairman of the National Wildlife Refuge Association, an organization he helped establish. He was also the founder and president of the Friends of Minnesota Valley and served as the first president of the Minnesota Valley Trust Incorporated. Published a memoir titled Dream Hunter that recounts his career and his outdoor pursuits. Family interests have included Girl Scouts and 4-H, art projects, travel through the US and Europe, outdoor sports, including camping, cross-country, skiing, canoeing, hunting, fishing, and bird dogs, spending time at their Wisconsin lake cabin, and they enjoy their daughters' and grandchildren's activities. Ed and Carol researched, compiled, and published 7 family history books. 2021-22 recipient for this award is Melissa Kirby. Melissa's here. Okay, no. And this is alternates between us and another department, so we don't have a recipient for this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. So our next presenter is Mary Beth Latvis, and I just want to put a plug in. You can see that we really are, and I spoke with Carol. I called all the donors earlier in the fall, and she was delighted that we were having this, and they could be online as well. But I hope you're enjoying hearing about their stories and their contributions and how they're related to who we are today. And we really do honor what they wanted to share when they set up their scholarships. So, okay, kick it off.
All right, so the next award is the Elvin and Alois Bjorklund Memorial Scholarship. So initiated with an endowment in 2000, the scholarship is provided in memory of the Bjorklunds by their two sons. So Elvin Carl Bjorklund graduated from SDSU with a BS degree in civil engineering in 1930. Following that, Elvin began a lifelong career with the Soil Conservation Service of the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Huron in 1935, and he continued until his retirement in 1971. He passed away in 1990. Ethel Eloise Nelson Bjorklund graduated from SDSU with a BS in economics in 1930. She taught at Arlington High School. They were married in 1934. After their sons, Dick and Don, graduated from high school, Eloise returned to teaching and taught secretarial skills at Northwest College of Commerce in Huron until retiring in 1970. And so during those 35 years together, Elvin and Eloise developed a lifelong commitment to the environment and conservation issues. And then Eloise passed away in 1997. Their sons were also accomplished. So Dick Bjorklund graduated with a degree in industrial engineering in 1959, and Don Bjorklund graduated with a degree in economics and a second lieutenant's commission in the U.S. Air Force in 1961. So the 2021 recipient is Bethany Hutner, and the 2022 recipient is Mackenzie Metzger. All right, congratulations to them.
Our next presenter is Jennifer Zavaleta-Cheek.
Hello, good evening. I have the pleasure of presenting Geneva Kettering Hoag and Jerome O. Hoag Scholarship. This is a really nice love story, y'all. So initiated in 2011 to provide a scholarship to a student majoring in wildlife and fisheries sciences with a preference for a student from the Aberdeen area of South Dakota. And they also must be a resident of South Dakota and a Jackrabbit guarantee. Geneva Kettering Hoag established the scholarship with the desire to support enthusiastic, curious college students with the desire to study wildlife and fisheries sciences. Geneva and her husband Jerome Hoag were high school sweethearts at different high schools in Aberdeen. Jerome was from Warner and Geneva was from Brentford, and their lives were united in marriage for 62 years. Jerome enjoyed a successful law career in Flandreau, following his service in the Marine Corps, which took him to the Pacific during World War II. Geneva and Jerome have 3 children, Colin, Kayla, and Alyssa, who all attended and/or received advanced degrees from SDSU. Hunting and fishing were favorite pastimes of the Hoag family, and it was Geneva's desire that others be afforded the same opportunity through conservation and education through wildlife and fisheries sciences. We lost Geneva this spring at the age of 96. So our first awardee for 21-22 is Tessa Hutchmacher. Welcome. Thank you, Tessa Hutmaker. Also for 2022, we have Sarah Hayden. Is she here? No. Okay, thank you.
And I want to say I had the privilege of visiting with Geneva a number of times and visited her, I guess, a year ago in the fall. And she was just a delight. And she always called to find out when she was going to find out about her recipient. So she, she was just wonderful and we will miss her. Okay, next presenter, Amanda.
Hello again. So now I get to present the Gerald B. Spahn Memorial Scholarship in Wildlife. This scholarship was established in 1966, where Dr. Spahn was the first head of the Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences here at SDSU. Dr. Spahn had a strong influence upon the department and many students who were in the program during his years at SDSU. In 1964, the Spahn family, former students, and other friends helped to establish this scholarship endowment in Dr. Spahn's name. The Memorial Award has been presented annually since that time. The recipient is selected on academic performance and must be a junior in wildlife and fishery sciences major from South Dakota or an adjacent state. Dr. Gerald Spahn was born in Chester, South Dakota in 1907. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in entomology in 1931 and his Master's of Science degree in 1933 from SDSU. He then was employed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service as a junior refuge manager. In 1938, Dr. Spahn joined the faculty at SDSU to teach entomology and develop a curriculum in wildlife management. He received his doctorate in wildlife conservation from Iowa State College in Ames in 1941. Dr. Spahn was head of the entomology zoology department at SDSU from 1953 to July 1963, when he was appointed the head of the newly developed Department of Wildlife Management. The graduate program was expanded in 1957 to include advanced study in fisheries and wildlife. The Cooperative Wildlife Research Unit was established at SDSU in 1963. Dr. Spahn died on August 31st, 1963, 2 months after seeing the Department of Wildlife Management organized. So the 2021 to 2022 awardee is Zachary Rode. Is Zachary here today? And the 2022 to 23 awardee is Bethany Bespoyazny. And I know Bethany is here.
Our next presenter is Josh Leffler.
It's my pleasure to present the James and Barbara Jessen Scholarship in Natural Resource Management, which was established in 2012. James Jessen holds South Dakota State University degrees in wildlife and fisheries and entomology, plus a doctorate from the University of Idaho. He worked as a research liaison between agricultural chemical companies and land-grant universities. Barbara Jessen graduated from South Dakota State University in 1967 with a degree in early childhood education and later added a master's degree from Washington State. She had a career in education and human services management. Their sons, Andy and Clay, earned degrees from South Dakota State University in 2000 and 2002. The 2021 and 22 award winner is Kaya Gray. And the 2022-23 award winners are Paige McDougall and Lucas Pedersen.
We'll make sure you get it. I should also share the reason why of the 21-22 recipients, not everyone is here, is a number of them have graduated, which is wonderful because that's our goal as a department, to have our students complete their degrees. Just as an aside. So the next person presenting, oh, it's me. Okay, so, and that was because I think, yes, Josh had to have a photo. So we had to do some slight changes. So I have the honor of presenting the Jeffrey and Pamela Donahoe Scholarship in the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences. And I've heard from Jeff recently. We text regularly and he will be here for Hobo Weekend and Homecoming. But here's a little bit about him. He comes to visit the department regularly. There's artwork in the department. And I encourage you all to come see the department. We have all the artwork that's been donated now put on our walls in a museum-like format. And we have a map. So if you want to know what painting or print your family donated, we can tell you. So we're really proud of this. And the walls are no longer pink. That's the end of my updates. Okay, now returning to the Donahoe Scholarship. Jeff Donahoe is a Sioux Falls, South Dakota native and graduated from Lincoln High School in 1971. Jeff grew up hunting and fishing with his dad and is an Eagle Scout and former Scout leader. Jeff earned his bachelor's degree in wildlife and fisheries sciences from SDSU in 1975. Jeff began his career with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 1978. He earned a master's degree in public administration from the University of Georgia in 1987. Jeff went on to serve as the chief of the Division of Realty in Washington, D.C., and served as the secretary to the Migratory Bird Conservation Commission from 1994 to 2003. Jeff retired from his role as a special assistant in the National Wildlife Refuge System with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Jeff continues to enjoy hunting, fishing with his sons. Pamela Donahoe is a native of Midland, Texas, and met Jeff while working in Atlanta, Georgia. Pam graduated from Angelo State University, now affiliated with Texas Tech University with a degree in journalism and business. Pam's career included positions in marketing and public relations. Pam continues to work in public relations and is an active volunteer and fundraiser for the high school band in Arlington, Virginia. The Donahoes have two sons, Joseph and Daniel, and Joe is a graduate of SDSU as well. And so the awardees for 21-22, it's the same individual was lucky enough to get this, is Joshua Schmidt for both years, but I do not think Joshua was able to attend this evening. So let's just thank the Donahoes for their support. The next presenter, Sandy Smart.
The Jennings Upland Endowment in Range Sciences. The scholarship was established in 2005. James Jennings graduated from the Animal and Range Science Department at SDSU in 1952. He established the scholarship to encourage students to pursue a career in range management and to encourage students returning to production agriculture to obtain a degree in range management. James is a retired banker and rancher. Emily graduated in 1951. The couple lives north of Spearfish, South Dakota. The couple has 4 grown children, 3 sons and their wives, all are STSU graduates. The 21-22 school year winners of the scholarship are Caitlin Denicky, who graduated this past spring, Eric Gutenkopf, Emily Knutson, who graduated last fall, Jacob Maynard, Tiffany Moore, Lydia Radershot, Jory Rogers, who graduated in the spring of 22, Abigail Rouse, Logan Simpson, Randy Tivis, Ryan Willen, and Landon Walter. The 2022-23 school year winners are Elise Anderson, Tyler Geltmacher, Eric Gutenkopf, Jacob Maynard, and Richard Mott. Okay. Yeah. This. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, our next presenter is Bruce Eichhorst with a shorter description of the scholarship since you made a comment.
I'm here to present the Jerome Norgren Water and Wildlife Conservation Scholarship. This scholarship was initiated in 2004 with a $99,500 endowment. This fund provides numerous scholarships each year to undergraduate wildlife and fisheries science majors. Mr. Jerome Norgren was vitally interested in natural resources, and this endowment was provided by his estate. Receipt is based on academic excellence. Jerome Norgren was born August 25th, 1903 in Centerville, South Dakota. The family settled in McCook County and later moved to a farm in Orland Township, Lake County in 1942. Jerome graduated from Centerville High School and later served in the Army during World War II. He farmed in Orland Township most of his life up until he moved to Madison, South Dakota to live with his sister Carolyn. Jerome passed away on December 15th, 1998. During his lifetime, Jerome was an avid conservationist, gardener, and keeper of honeybees. Good thing. He was also a poet philosopher who enjoyed writing on the quandaries of nature, life, death, and humanity, the things that we all think about, right? Good. Our most recent recipient from 2021-22 is Bethany Bespoyasny. Okay, Bethany is already up here once. Now she gets to come up a second time. Something you should know about Bethany, she is currently the student curator for our large mammal collection, is doing a fantastic job on that. And Logan Simpson, who is not able to attend. We also then have our most recent recipient for 22-23, Peter Nestor. Peter here, yes, come on up.
So the next presenter is going to be myself, and I am presenting the John Hartle Undergraduate Research Grant. The grant was established in 2001. This endowment established was in honor of Dr. John Hartle, a vertebrate biologist in biology and microbiology here at SDSU. John's love of vertebrate animals and longtime contributions to the study of vertebrates resulted in the establishment of this endowment by Lois Hartle in support of undergraduate research on vertebrate animals at Oak Lake Field Station. The grant is competitive, requiring the submission of a research paper, and is awarded every other year. And our recipient, the most recent recipient, is Wendy Blickensdorfer. And Wendy isn't able to be here, but I'm happy to report that she is still at SDSU in the 2+2 program, training to become a vet. So Wendy is around, she just couldn't join us. And I also want to say that Lois Hartle, we heard from her as well, and she was traveling and isn't able to be here, but she was delighted that we were again convening to celebrate. So let's thank Lois and others. Our next presenter is Bill Sievert.
Hello, I'm going to be presenting the Lake Campbell Wildlife Club Scholarship from Mountain City. And I just want to ask, is Corey Knobel here today from the, yes, okay. Thank you for attending. The Lake Campbell Wildlife Club, Mountain City, South Dakota, strongly believes that education and educational opportunities are important to sound conservation. Because of these beliefs, in 1976, the club established a scholarship award. Since that time, the club has annually presented a scholarship to a wildlife and fisheries science major at SDSU. The scholarship, based on academic performance, goes to a junior who is a South Dakota resident. The club prefers that someone from the north central region of the state is selected if possible. And the 2022-23 recipient of this award is Caitlin Presler.
Did you want to say anything, Corey?
Well, I'm here on behalf of my grandparents, Jim and Elaine Knabel from Mountain City. So on behalf of them, congrats to all the recipients tonight. Also super proud of another Ipswich grad receiving this award. Go Tigers.
We've all figured this out. The next presenter is Chris Cheek.
I'm happy to present the Larry and Joe Kalaman Scholarship in Wildlife and Fisheries Science. The scholarship was initiated in 2005 as an endowed fund that provides a scholarship annually to sophomore or junior wildlife and fisheries science majors. Larry was an alum of the department and has a strong interest in rewarding natural resource students for academic performance. Larry grew up in Brookings and graduated from Brookings High School in 1961. Larry received his BS and MS in 1966 and 1968 in wildlife and fisheries science from SDSU. During his career, he was employed by the Saskatchewan Fisheries Research Laboratory, South Dakota Department of Game and Fish and Parks, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, U.S. National Park Service, and the U.S. Geological Survey. He's now retired. His career focused primarily Focus primarily involved working on fisheries and other aquatic ecology issues on the Missouri River, the Boreal Lakes, and reservations in Saskatchewan, Minnesota, and Michigan. Joe Betty Callman graduated from the Brookings High School also in 1961, attended SDSU, and received a BA from Metro State University in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1984. As well as parenting her children, her career experiences included preschool education and office administration. She has two sons, Major Randall DeVos, U.S. Air Force service, who was killed in Afghanistan in 2010. And Jeffrey Avos, SDSU, had a bachelor in 1994. In 1986, at their 25th high school class reunion, Joe and Larry re-met and married a year later. They live in Spearfish, South Dakota, and they have two grandchildren. And today I'm happy to present the 2021 scholarship to Alex Miller. Is Alex in attendance? And for 2022, Nathan Deweese.
Our next presenter is Allison Coulter.
If Sydney and Annette Wagner are here, I would invite them to come on up. The McCook Lake Isaac Walton League Scholarship was established in 1994 and provides numerous scholarships annually. The award is based on academic scholarship and the McCook Lake Isaac Walton League provides this endowment and these scholarships because of their commitment to natural resources management. The McCook Lake Isaac Walton League Scholarship was created to establish a lasting scholarship under the Isaac Walton name and as a way for the McCook Lake Isaac Walton League to leave its mark on conservation for and with coming generations. The McCook Lake Isaac Walton League chapter was chartered on July 6, 1936, and the chapter is a not-for-profit organization where all proceeds are used for scientific, educational, or conservational purposes in the public interest. So the 2021-2022 recipients are Felix Busk, who I didn't see tonight, but if you're here, come on up. Dean Laverack, who graduated, and Joseph Simpson, who is away at a conference this week. Our 23 recipients are Seamus O'Connor, who I did see here, Zach Rode, and Joseph Simpson. So congratulations.
The next award is the McMullen Undergraduate Research Grant. This research grant was established in 2017 in honor of Dr. Charles and Marcia McMullen, who have been longtime supporters of Oak Lake Field Station. Chuck served as the first director of Oak Lake Field Station and was instrumental in working with President Robert Wagner to establish the field station as a resource to students interested in the natural sciences. This endowment provides support for NRM undergraduate students interested in conducting undergraduate research in natural resources at Oak Lake. Chuck and Marcia McMullen have a long association with SDSU. Before his retirement in May 2002, Chuck spent 36 years on campus working as an instructor and professor, and later as head of biology and microbiology department. Chuck later served as Associate Dean of Academic Programs for the College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences. Chuck was called out of retirement in August of 2004 to assume the position of interim dean of the College of Agricultural and Biological Sciences until a permanent dean was named. Chuck has a Bachelor of Science degree in Biological Sciences from Northern State University, a Master of Sciences in Botany, and PhD in Agronomy from SDSU. Marcia began her employment with SDSU as a secretary of the Physical Plant Department. She later worked in staff positions for Public Broadcasting, the College of Family and Consumer Sciences, and Briggs Library. She retired in 2002 after 42 years of service to the state of South Dakota. Marcia has an associate degree in general agriculture from SDSU. We have lost Chuck since the initiation of this award, but Marcia still lives in Brookings, and they have 2 children and 5 grandchildren, and we hear from her pretty regularly. So, and she's also been a wonderful, we have a lot of interesting artwork and decoys from her. And so the one awardee that we have for 22-23 is Sierra Sattler. I'll be right there. So the next award we have is Natural Resource Management General Scholarship. This award was established in 2022, and the recipients may be pursuing any major within the Department of Natural Resource Management. And our first recipient is Tessa Magner, but I don't know if Tessa's here. No, well, let's congratulate Tessa and the formation of a new scholarship. And our next presenter is Amanda Cheeseman.
Our next scholarship is the Paul and Jeanette Voss Scholarship in Wildlife and Fishery Sciences. This scholarship was established in 2012. Paul A. Voss Jr. was born in Kansas City, Kansas, in January 19th, 1931 to Paul and Martha Long Voss. He and his family lived in Telluride, Colorado from 1937 to 1942. He graduated from Wyandotte High School in Kansas City, Kansas in 1949. Paul attended Kansas State College for his freshman year and was activated with the Navy Reserve Squadron VF 884 during the Korean War, where he served as an aviation ordnance man. After release from active duty, he returned to Kansas State and finished his bachelor's degree in agriculture, zoology, in 1955 and was commissioned as an ensign in the Navy Reserve. He earned a master's degree in zoology from Southern Illinois University in 1958. He earned a PhD in zoology at Iowa State University in 1964 after joining the faculty in 1963. He served as an instructor, assistant professor, and associate professor until he moved to Oregon State University in 1968, where he served as a professor and extension wildlife specialist. He accepted the position as professor of wildlife and head of the Department of Wildlife and Fishery Sciences at SDSU and served from 1974 to 1976. From there, he went to work with the USDI Fish and Wildlife Service as unit leader of the Oklahoma Cooperative Wildlife Research Unit until 1979, when he was asked to transfer to Washington, D.C. as the supervisor of all the cooperative wildlife research units across the United States. He was appointed director of the Denver Wildlife Research Center, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 1983. He moved to Iowa State University in 1987 as leader of the Cooperative Fisheries and Wildlife Research Unit and served until 1992. In 1992, he became a senior editor and assistant branch leader with the Information Transfer Center in Fort Collins, Colorado. He retired from the federal government in 1995, and he continued to serve in the Navy Reserve throughout his career and retired as a captain in 1987. Paul married Jeanette Kidzler, an elementary school teacher in Ames, Iowa in 1962. The 2021-22 awardee is Kenneth Jimerson, who I believe is here. And the 2022-23 awardee is Emma Schwartz, who I believe was not able to attend.
Our next presenter is Jennifer Zavaleta-Cheek.
Hello, I have the pleasure of announcing the Paul E. Doc Nordstrom Scholarship in Park Management. The scholarship was established in 2019. Dr. Paul E. Nordstrom began his teaching at SDSU in the fall of 1972 as an assistant professor in horticulture forestry. He headed the park management program from 1972 to 1982. He remained at SDSU until 1988 and rose to the rank of full professor. During this time, he held the position of department head in the Horticulture, Forestry, Landscape, and Parks Department. He was the associate dean and director of the resident instruction in the College of Ag and Biological Sciences. He was the acting vice president for academic affairs, associate to the president, director of international programs, and director for the Center of Innovation. It's a lot to live up to. Over the 200 park management students were taught and advised by Dr. Nordstrom, and he was affectionately known as Doc by his advisees and students. Nordstrom received his BA degree from the University of Montana and his MS and PhD degrees at Montana State University. Nordstrom is past president of the University of Maine and Machias. He is now retired. I'd like to congratulate Carter Vogel, who's our 2021-22 recipient. And I'd also like to acknowledge Jaden Sears, who could not be with us this evening, for he is receiving an additional award from the South Dakota Parks and Recreation Association at Custer State Parks this evening.
And I would also like to point out that Jennifer Zavaleta Cheek is now the leader of the Conservation Planning and Park Management Program here at SDSU. So this one was really appropriate. Okay. The next presenter is Lan Shu and Lal Perman. If you would like to come up and say a few words as well.
I think it's a great honor. I have to present this this scholarship. It's a Rock Hills Ranch Scholarship. Lila and the Garnet Perman established a Rock Hills Ranch Scholarship in 2026. They hope to encourage a student to choose a career that includes a focus on holistic management of South Dakota's largest resources, our grasslands. Lila and Garnet and both their children, Luke and Kaiser, are SDSU graduates. Garnet, originally from Freeman, South Dakota, graduated in 1976 with a bachelor degree in biology and with minors in German and athletic training. Lila is 1977 general education, agriculture graduate. They both served on the Hobo Day committee. It's next weekend. In addition to operating the ranch, Lila has been a licensed insurance agent since 1985. Garnet was a substitute teacher for many years and a 4-H leader for 8 years. She has written a rural life column on the 100th meridians since 2002. And she also does some freelance writing focused on natural resource management. Luke graduated with ranch manager science degree from us in 2006. He served as president of Ranch Science Club in 2005 to 2006. He joined family ranching operation after graduation. He and his wife, Naomi, currently manage their family operation, are parents to 4 children, Isaac, Ella, Noah, and Mecca. Kaiser received her bachelor degree in consumer affairs with Spanish minors in 2006. She and her husband, Chris White, and their 4 children, Jake, Annie, Mila, and Pepper, live in Franklin, Tennessee. Lila and Garnet established their ranch nearby Lowry, South Dakota in 1976 the family's focus on management and soil health is central to the diversified operation. Today, the ranch includes the original cow-calf enterprise plus stockers, sheep, customer grazing, and crop enterprise. Through the years, the ranch has been involved with several organizations that are promoting management and preservation of grassland. They have mentored others through hosting ranch tours, summer internships, and apprenticeship. Sorry, apologize that. Lyle and Luke have both served as resource people for the South Dakota Grassland Correlation Grazing School and as voice for soil health for the NRCS. In 2014, Rock Hills Ranch received South Dakota Aldo Lipo Conservation Award and the National Cattlemen Beef Association Environmental Stewardship Award. McDonald's also recognized the ranch in their flagship farmers program. The award is for 2021 and 2022 for the same individual, Lyndon Water.
Would you like to say anything? Please.
I had about a 45-minute speech arranged. There's just a few more awards to give and you got 45 minutes left, so I figured I could fill most of that. This marks the 47th anniversary of the night that my wife and I, who were on the Hobart Committee, spent the night on the top of the Campanile sleeping with our fellow Hobart Committee members. So that's something that I think about this time of year. Barry Dunn and I shared third floor Matthews together. I was in 313, he was in 315. The difference between Barry and I was ecstatic when I got a B and he was disappointed. We both went to the library. He went to study and I went to look for girls. I was successful, I guess he was too, but we're just really happy to be coming back to the university and seeing the students that are here. I only had 1 year that I was on the dean's list, and that was the year after Garnet and I got married. I had my senior year left. She graduated, but before that, I'd never let studying interfere with my education. So anyway, it's an honor to be here tonight and present this to Landon. I wish all of you the best, and just like I say, great to be here with you.
Our next presenter is Bruce Eichhorst.
I have the privilege of presenting another Isaac Walton League Scholarship. It's good to see that there's so many of them. This one is from Sioux Falls. It's in Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences. The scholarship was established in 1959. It annually goes to a junior from Eastern South Dakota. The chapter has always taken great interest in undergraduate education. This became an endowed scholarship in 2006. Mission statement of the Sioux Falls chapter of the Isaac Walton League is to conserve, maintain, protect, and restore the soil, forest, water, and other natural resources of the United States and other lands, to promote means and opportunities for the education of the public with respect to such resources and their enjoyment and wholesome utilization. Our recipient for 2021-22 is Felix Busk, and Felix also is a recipient for the current year, and he's not able to be here tonight. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Don McCrory.
What I find interesting is I started my first position with Game Fish and Parks back in 1977. That's a little over 45 years ago. And what's neat about the perspective I have from that is about half of these names weren't just names. To me, I had the opportunity to know and work with many of these people, some still alive, some passed. So I thought that was, it's very special for me to be here and be able to present. So what I'm going to be presenting is the South Dakota Conservation Officer Association Scholarship. And is somebody here from the CO Association to come up, be part of this? Okay. Well, I think I can represent the association pretty well since I was a member of it for about 23 years. And it was established in 1996. And the Conservation Officers Association annually provides a scholarship to a junior, senior, undergraduate wildlife and fisheries sciences major. They prefer someone interested in law enforcement. The purpose of the scholarship is to promote the following objectives between the association and its students: to promote the professional status and understanding of wildlife conservation officers, other wildlife enforcement officers, and wildlife law enforcement in general, to foster and promote communication, cooperation, and professional relationships between conservation and enforcement officers and young people preparing to enter the profession, to also recruit and develop a group of young people whose interest in the profession can be deepened and encouraged to identify and reward outstanding young people preparing to enter that particular profession. The 21-22 recipient was Alexis Gerber, not able to attend from what I understand. And before I tell you who, introduce and have Ethan come up, one thing about Ethan, he believes everything I say. Don't you, Ethan? Everything. All right. Anyway, the 22-23 recipient is Ethan Heitkamp, and very well deserved, Ethan.
And by the way, Don leads our natural resource law enforcement program here in the department. And I suspect you might have guessed that given his experience. And our next presenter is Chris Cheek.
Tonight, I'm happy to present the South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited Scholarship in Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences. The scholarship was established in 2008. The South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited members love fishing and enjoying beautiful lakes and rivers of South Dakota. They're making sure that these pristine waters are available for years to come for their children and grandchildren. They're a charitable organization. In 2008, South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited began providing scholarships annually to undergraduates who are the residents of South Dakota. South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited is dedicated to preserving, protecting, and improving all fisheries within the state of South Dakota. Through memberships, community involvement, and family participation, we can restore South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited can restore the forage base and create restocking programs that will benefit all of South Dakota waters. South Dakota Walleyes Unlimited will strive to accomplish these tasks in a fiscal, environmental, and responsible manner. Tonight, I'm happy to present two recipients from 2021, Tessa Hutmaker and Eli Satzinger. And for the 2023 year, Annie Fenden, and again, Tessa Hutmaker. Congratulations.
Our next presenter is Mary Beth Latvis.
All right, I now have the privilege to announce the Society for Range Management Tex Lewis Memorial Scholarship. So this scholarship was established in 1986 and was initially called the James K. Tex Lewis Memorial Scholarship. Tex Lewis, Professor Emeritus, retired from SDSU after 35 years of service to the range livestock industry, rangeland conservation, and higher education as a teacher and researcher. Tex received the Outstanding Achievement Award from the Society for Range Management and the Trail Boss Award from the South Dakota section of the Society for Range Management for his contributions. And he passed away in 2007. And so this scholarship is provided by the South Dakota section of the Society for Range Management in honor of him. Preference is given to juniors in range science with at least a 2.7 grade point average who have demonstrated a sincere interest in range science or management. Scholarship need, involvement in student activities, and character are also considered in the selection of these recipients. So for 2021, our awardees are Caitlin Denicky, who graduated last spring, and Eric Pitts, who's now doing a master's in our program. So we couldn't get rid of him. And then, and then in 2022-23, our recipients are Randy Tivis and Landon Walter.
Thank you. And Eric, we didn't want to get rid of you, just so you know. The next presenter is Steve Chips.
So the next award is the Stephen M. Zebarth Scholarship in Wildlife Fishery Science in support of the Jackrabbit Guarantee. So this award was established in 2006 in support of the Jackrabbit Guarantee student. Dr. Stephen Zebarth earned his degree from SDSU in 1988 in chemistry, and he went on to dental school at the Medical College of Virginia and earned his doctorate in dental surgery in 1993. So he currently owns a practice in Winchester, Virginia, a couple miles where I grew up, and that's where he currently resides. So this year's winners, recipients, I should say, nobody's winning anything, the scholarships, but is 2021-22 year Samuel Schumacher, and the 2022-2023 year Emma Schwartz and Sophia. Is Sophia here? So please save me from mispronouncing your name. I want to say it's French Canadian, but Tula. Close. All right. So Sophie, yeah, I think she's the only one here. Come up. Yeah.
So the next presenter is Lan Shu.
It's my great pleasure to present the Streeter Memorial Scholarship in Wildlife Fisheries. This endowed scholarship was established in 2001. It is for South Dakota residents with high academic and leadership potential. This award is in memory Colleen and Mamie Streeters, and was instituted in their memories by the Streeter family. Colleen and Mamie Streeters both grew up on the prairie of South Dakota and married in 1928. They owned 2 farmers near Madison, South Dakota. Colleen was recognized as soil conservationist of the year 1972 for his restoration of a degraded farm on the west shores of Lake Hermans into highly productive lands with terrace, trees, grasses, waterways, wetlands, and permanent wildlife habitats. Colleen and Mamie both derived much pleasure from seeing wildlife thrives on their lands. It is a desire of the Streeter family that the recipient of the scholarship emanating from these memorials will in return leave South Dakota lands and their natural resources in an improved state of conservation for future generations. 2021 recipient is Jay Holm. I think he is not available attending today. 2022, Joseph, awardee is Joseph Simpson, and he's not able to attend either because he's attending a conference on the Custer State Park over there. Okay, thank you. Congratulations for both.
I'd also like to note that Bob Streeter is part of our advisory board within the Natural Resource Management Department. And he is also being honored as Distinguished Alumnus in 2022. So Bob will be here for all the festivities for homecoming week, and he'll be in the department Friday morning of homecoming to visit with us. So just wanted to acknowledge that because we were pretty excited for him. All right. Our next presenter, Josh, I knew it was you because you were getting ready to get up. Josh Leffler, please.
All right, top of the ninth, folks. So it's my pleasure tonight to introduce the Harry Strober Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship was established by Dr. Chuck Dieter and his wife Carla Dieter. Chuck was a professor emeritus from the Department of Natural Resource Management, and Harry was his uncle. The scholarship was established in 2015. The scholarship is dedicated Harry was instrumental in instilling a love of hunting and fishing in Chuck and spurring Chuck to get involved in the fields of wildlife and fisheries as a field of study. Our award this year goes to Emma Millsap.
I want to share, we saw Carla, heard from Chuck, and Chuck is in Canada hunting, as one should when they're retired. So they're doing well. Okay, the next presenters are going to be Bill Seaverud and Allison Coulter.
So we are here to present the Wilbur Allen Scholarship in Wildlife and Fisheries Sciences, which was established in 1984. The late Wilbur Allen, who was the inventor of the compound bow, had a strong conservation ethic and interest in wildlife and fisheries education. Because of this, Mrs. Elizabeth Allen established a $350,000 scholarship endowment in his name. And that initial investment occurred in 1984 when the scholarship began. This endowment allows the department to provide scholarships to undergraduate wildlife and fisheries majors. More than 10 Allen scholarships are typically provided each spring and fall semester.
The Wilbur Allen Scholarship Fund in Wildlife Sciences was presented by Elizabeth Allen in memory of her husband Wilbur, a dedicated wildlife conservationist, scientist, outdoorsman, and sportsman. Wilbur Allen visualized the need for thoughtful preservation of land and wildlife. These ideals, coupled with his mechanical abilities, led him to revolutionize the archery industry with his invention of the compound bow. Mr. Allen was employed in several areas of industry, which gave him the business skills that he could later use in his own corporation. As his compound bow grew in popularity, it soon took up all his time. Expansion of his business led to the need for specialized tooling, which he designed and built himself. Patented in 1969, the compound bow has been accepted as the standard of the industry. This consequently reflects the ingenuity and capability of its inventor, Wilbur Allen. So our 2021 recipients are Bethany Bespoy-Osny, Bryce Capacious, Alexis Gerber, Justin Harms, Jay Holm, Riley Mounson, Jordan Roman, Emma Schwartz, and Joseph Simpson. All right, and the recipients for the 2022-2023 school year are also again Bethany Bespoy-Osney, Kaylee Boland, Annie Faden, Alexis Gerber, Justin Harms, Jay Holm, and Corin Prim. I guess when you invent a compound bow, you get to fund a lot of students.
You can take two pictures, 21, 22. We had the privilege of meeting some of the family members a few years ago, which was really lovely. I know I had to look up what a compound bow was, so I'm sorry about that, but our next presenter is Don McCrory.
And once again, I can't just get right to it. I'd like to say that in addition to the fact that I was a conservation officer here in Brookings back in the early 90s, Bob Kurtz was my one of my hunt safe instructor extraordinaires. And we reunited tonight after 30 years. Extraordinary man and conservationist. So I want to recognize Bob for that. It was pretty neat for me too. So
And he's the dad of Mary Christensen.
oh, really?
And that's his
All right, well, that was an award-winning one there too, let me tell you. We got, anyway, that's amazing.
We'll do a two thing. No, Mary Christensen is in the college. She's an amazing academic advisor. We could not survive without her. And it was just such a delight to connect the dots this evening. So now you may
Yes.
continue.
Wow. Okay, and I thought it was, you were already on hallowed ground there, Bob, so. All right, I am going to be presenting the 2990 Sportsman's Club Scholarship, which was established in 2013. The 2990 Sportsman's Club was formed on June 20th, 1997 in South Dakota by Charles Rakusik. Chuck, are you here tonight? Chuck Rakusik started as a conservation officer 1 year before I did. So I hadn't seen Chuck in a long time either. So, all right, anyway, it was initiated by Charles Rakusik as an educational charitable nonprofit organization, which will advance the education and science of sound natural resource management. It will also defend from waste and exploitation of the natural resources of our state and country in order to pass them on to the future generations and to uphold the ideal that natural resources are in the public domain. And its scholarship was established again in 2013. 22-23, Tyler Hyland.
Our next presenter is Josh Leffler.
It's my pleasure to announce one of the most recent awards established within our department, the Passflower Undergraduate Research Award supporting the Native Plant Initiative. For those of you that are not familiar, the Native Plant Initiative is a new research program within our department headed by Dr. Laura Perkins, who could not be here this evening. This award was established in 2022, so this is the first year we are awarding it through an endowment from Rebecca Kurt Schwenke and Steve Schwenke. Natives of the Midwest, Rebecca and Steve are passionate about native plants and value the impact that native plant production and restoration can have on our landscape. The goal of this research award is to engage undergraduates in research on native plant materials and the native plant materials industry, which encompasses plant biology, ecology, and production. A highlight of this research award is that the funds are partially dedicated to allowing students to present their findings at a professional society meeting. The first awardee for this new scholarship is Caitlin Pressler.
Well, That concludes the formal presentation. I do want to say that I want to thank McCrory Gardens and Lori Pitts here for helping us with the planning of this event. I also want to thank very much the college communications team. Nicole Hudson helped us with our program. Laura Berg's whole team are always there to help us, and we greatly appreciate their assistance in the preparations for this evening. Once again want to congratulate our awardees. You're present. We're really happy you're here. Those who were not able to join us, we're just as proud as you. And we really look forward to seeing their bright futures and helping to conserve and manage our natural resources for the future. We also really are very grateful to our donors for their ongoing commitment to our students and our department. And it's a pleasure to meet family members, renew friendships, old friends, new friends. There's a lot of cake, there's a lot of treats. You may continue visiting here for a while. You'd be most welcome to. I know I'm heading to a piece of cake. And but I also wish you safe travels, stay well, and thanks so much for joining us this evening. And take care. Okay, bye-bye. Oops, no, it's okay. You can go get cake, but I would like you to note that we have other scholarships we weren't able to present tonight, but we have other donors we wanted to acknowledge. Oops. Okay, now you can eat cake. Bye.